All right, let's talk about something that's shaping our digital world, often without us even realizing it: data mining. It is happening all around us all the time. And today, we're going to break down exactly what it is, how it works, and why it's become so incredibly important. You know that feeling, right? You're scrolling online, or maybe you just mention a product out loud, and then boom, an ad for that exact thing pops up. Or a streaming service recommends a show and it turns out to be your new favorite. It can feel a little bit like magic, or maybe even a little creepy. But it's not magic. So, what's the secret sauce here? Well, it's something called data mining. The best way to think about it is like a form of digital detective work. It's the whole process of sifting through massive, and I mean massive, piles of information, these giant collections of numbers, images, and text we call data sets, to find these little hidden gems of useful information. So let's pull back the curtain on this invisible hand. We're going to explore what it really is, how it manages to find those hidden patterns, and why it's become so essential for, well, everything from marketing to national security. Basically, organizations are collecting these just mountains of raw data, and trying to find one meaningful insight in all that is like trying to find a needle in a digital haystack. Data mining uses really powerful tools like artificial intelligence and machine learning to do that searching for us. They train these algorithms to recognize super complex patterns and make predictions way, way faster than any human ever could. Now, I know this might still sound a little like digital wizardry, but in reality, it's a very structured, very organized process. There's actually a specific recipe that professionals follow to turn all that raw data into real-world action. And that recipe is called the CRISP-DM model. That stands for Cross-Industry Standard Process for Data Mining. It's really the go-to blueprint for pretty much any data mining project out there. It gives experts this reliable roadmap, breaking the entire thing down into 6 clear phases, guiding them all the way from a simple business question to a final working solution. Okay, so let's walk through these 6 phases really quick. It all starts with business understanding. Basically, what problem are we actually trying to solve? Next up is data understanding. That's where you gather all the raw data and just kind of get a first look at it. Then comes the really crucial part: data preparation. This is where you clean up all the messy data and get it ready. After that, you get to the fun part: modeling. This is where you unleash powerful algorithms to find those hidden patterns. Then, in the evaluation phase, you step back and ask, did this actually work? Does it help us meet our goal? And finally, deployment, where you take the finished model and put it to work in the real world. So now that we have the blueprint, where is this process actually being used? The short answer? Pretty much everywhere. Let's look at some real-world examples of data mining that you probably interact with every single day. In business and finance, it's an absolute game changer. Those targeted ads on your social media feed? That's data mining, analyzing your clicks and comments. That text you get from your bank about a suspicious purchase? That's data mining, detecting a weird pattern in your spending. It's also used to analyze stock market trends, figure out credit scores, and even find the fastest, most efficient delivery routes for all those packages we order. And it's not just for commerce. Governments are huge users of data mining. By analyzing things like financial transactions, communications, and travel records, security agencies can look for patterns that might point to criminal activity or potential threats to national security. It's also used on a local level to figure out where to allocate police resources by assessing crime patterns. But it's not all profits and security, right? The applications also extend into the public good. In science, for example, data mining can help track the spread of a disease by finding patient clusters, or even patterns in how a virus is changing. It also helps governments understand big social trends, like population migration or shifts in wealth, which allows them to make much more informed policy decisions. So it's pretty clear that data mining is an incredibly powerful tool. It can boost profits, it can prevent crime, it can even save lives. But like any powerful tool, it's a double-edged sword. It comes with some really significant risks and some tough ethical questions that we all need to be thinking about. This really illustrates that trade-off perfectly. On one hand, you've got the promise: better decisions, helpful personalization, and improved security. But on the other side, you've got the peril. Data mining is a hungry machine, and it requires huge amounts of our data, often sensitive, personal data. This creates massive security risks and something called mission creep, which is when data collected for one purpose gets used for something totally different later on. And it is so important to remember: data mining only shows correlation. It can tell you that people who buy hot dogs also tend to buy buns. It can't tell you why. And it can't predict what any one person will do. only what groups of people are likely to do. And this gets to one of the biggest challenges. The results you get are only ever as good as the data you put in. It's that classic garbage in, garbage out problem. If your data is old, incomplete, or just flat out wrong because of human error, then the patterns and predictions you get from it are going to be flawed too. And that can lead to some really bad decisions. So, as we wrap this up, we're left with a pretty fundamental question. This technology is only getting more powerful and more woven into the fabric of our lives. It can personalize our world and keep us safe, but it also raises these huge questions about privacy, accuracy, and fairness. So, who gets to decide how it's used? And who's responsible when it goes wrong? That's definitely something for all of us to think about.